Welcome, Dukes, to day one of a two-day activity focused on the idea of social critique. The aim of this two-day activity is to transition from the justice unit to the social critique unit. Let's take a look at the two-day plan. Today, our target is simple. I can understand how different viewpoints on social issues, including my own, relate to each other. We'll break our agenda for today into four parts. First, we'll frame the idea of social critique and introduce a tool that you can use over the course of the next 2 days and the entire unit. Second, we'll learn more about how the tool works. Third, we'll try using the tool by applying it to a real-life issue. And finally, we'll stretch by making a connection to what you've already learned in American government. On day 2, we'll focus on applying what you learned today. So the target for tomorrow will be I can apply my understanding of how different viewpoints on social issues relate by examining and categorizing social media posts. So let's start by framing the idea of social critique, which is really just a fancy term for taking a stand on an issue. In the justice unit, the goal was to get you thinking about different issues and viewpoints on those issues through the lens of justice. So we asked questions like, what is the right thing to do? And do we guarantee justice for all? We took a look at different understandings of justice, such as merit-based and needs-based justice. We also explored some case studies in justice, including A Raisin in the Sun and a series of nonfiction articles about current issues. The unit culminated in you writing a synthesis essay. So the focus of the Justice Unit was very much on just more deeply understanding issues in our society today. What we did not focus on as much is what you think about these issues. So the hope in this new unit is to focus more on your perspective by asking questions such as, what do you think is the right thing to do in the face of injustice? How do you think we should respond as individuals, as a community, and as a nation? Why do you think we should respond this way? As part of this new unit, we'll be reading a variety of nonfiction texts about current issues. We'll be making connections to William Shakespeare's The Taming of the Shrew, and you'll have an opportunity to conduct your own research on a topic of your choosing. But to keep things focused for today and tomorrow, we're going to come back to these four questions. What issues are important in our society today? What do you think we should do about those issues? What do others think we should do about those issues? And how do these multiple viewpoints relate to each other? For today, we'll focus mostly on the first and last questions. The other two will be emphasized much more heavily tomorrow. So let's start with the first question. What issues are important in our society today? So we took a look at your responses to the Twitter exploration and class surveys, and we compiled them into a list of issues that all of you have indicated are important to you and to our society. So just take a moment to soak in how extensive that list really is. The good news is that York Dukes are thinking a lot more about a number of really important issues in our society today. So we're excited to learn more about them along with you. We'll be looking at an example later in this screencast that deals with some of the issues on this very list, and you'll have the opportunity to explore many more of them tomorrow. The next question we'll look at today is, how do these multiple viewpoints relate to each other? In order to dive into those multiple viewpoints and how we should respond to issues in our society, we want to give you a tool for making sense of them all, including your own, and how all those viewpoints relate to each other. So the grid you see on the screen is a visual representation of that tool. Before we can use it, though, we need to learn more about three terms. One is the term freedom, and we can break that down into different types. 2 is regulation, and we'll look at some degrees of regulation. And 3, the connection between freedom and regulation.